Hi there, we're going to show you how to sharpen a knife on Shapton Pro stones. So, first off, let's see that this knife is actually dull. If it's not, I'll go dull it up some more. I went and just ran it on my balcony for a few minutes. Yeah, not cutting a damn thing. So we're going to start off on the Shapton Pro 1K stone. For any of you Edge Pro users who are looking to use freehand, know that there's a difference in the grit ratings from American stones and Japanese stones. This is a Japanese stone. So 1K in Japanese is probably like 400 or 600 on Edge Pro stones or Western stones. So what you're going to want to do to start off, this is a splash and go stone. So you just need to put a little bit of water on top. There's already some water on there though. First, you Edge Pro users, the way you guys do it, you mark it with felt tip and then adjust the angle arm, the guide arm until you're removing all the felt tip. There's no reason to do that when you're freehanding. You can find the bevel much easier and much faster. So I don't really know how to teach you or describe how to do it other than to just press it lightly, applying really light pressure. You can just kind of feel when the bevel is sitting on the stone just right. And then to start off, what you're going to do is just push and pull strokes. So you're not applying really that much pressure at all, just maybe the weight of my hands. And just push and pull, push and pull, push and pull until you have a burr. For those of you who don't know what a burr is, well, when I have one, I'll describe what that is. And I have a burr. So as you grind the knife, what you're trying to do is make this. The way you ensure that you've made this is by making this. So as you keep grinding this side of the knife, what you're doing, say this is the side of the knife that's on the stone and getting ground. As you're grinding it down to this, once you get to this point, if you keep grinding, you're going to start pushing metal over. And the way you feel for a burr, or at least the way I feel for a burr, is the side that is not being ground, I run my thumb across it and it'll feel like a lip. Like a very, very tiny, almost microscopic lip. So that means you've reached an apex. To ensure that you have an even edge and not one that's like this, where one side is at a different angle than the other, is I pass the burr to the other side. So we're going to do the same thing that we were just doing, just push and pull strokes. And to know that you're in the right angle, you can just hear it. You can hear it, you can feel it. It's really hard to describe it, but you'll know. Some of the ways that you can hear it is I'm not at the right angle, I'm at too steep of an angle, and it sounds different and it feels different. Quick note, you'll see so when I did my first burr, I was holding the knife in this hand, and then I was holding it in this hand when I was passing the burr. There's no need to be ambidextrous when you're sharpening a knife. There's plenty of people who will just turn the knife around and hold it like this to make their burr, and that's a perfectly acceptable way to sharpen. So let's see if we have another burr. We do have another burr, and now it's time to remove the burr, so that way we have just a nice sharp edge. There's a couple of ways to do this. You can do it entirely on the stone, and that's usually how I do it, but another way you can remove a burr is you just take the knife, and right here I'm on my desk, just no pressure, just lightly run it against the grain, or perpendicular to the grain of some wood. And this is just cheap particle board, so there really is no grain. About 10 times, just using the weight of the knife. And then even after you do this, I would still recommend going onto the stone and stropping a little bit. So I just wiped off all the swarf. Swarf is what you call the metal particles, not medical particles, metal particles that come off of the knife. So I just removed all the swarf, which took all the water with it. So we're going to go ahead and reapply some water to it. And now let's start our stropping process. There's two ways to strop. Some people will do edge trailing. Other people will do edge leading. I like to do edge leading. I don't even know if this is technically considered stropping so much as it's just how I'm removing the burr. If any of my words are wrong, or any of my terminology or jargon is incorrect, please correct me in the comments. If you think my technique is wrong, well, I'll show you with a piece of paper when I'm done. All right, so let's go. 1, Oh, what I do for this is I'll do 5 strokes. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pass the knife to the other hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll do that like 2 or 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do it 3 times this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from there we just count down. So now we'll do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. Now we'll just 1, 1, and we'll do this a couple times. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Let's see how it is. Run it on some wood real fast, just a couple times. This knife would not cut paper at all when we started off, and now let's see where it's at. Just gliding right through it. And this isn't even that fine of a stone. So let's go ahead. Oh, there's still a little bit of a burr right there on the tip. Let's see if that cleans it up. There you go. Just right through it. And this is a 1K stone. And even then, it's a 1K stone that a lot of people think is actually an 800 stone. So, now we're going to go ahead and get it even sharper. I'm not going to show you guys this part because the technique is exactly the same. This is a sharpening stone. This is a polishing stone. This is the Shapton Pro 5K. The technique is pretty much the same. You don't need to worry about forming a burr because you've already reached your apex. After this, all you need to do is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I said I wasn't going to show you, but clearly I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes what I'll do, you don't have to do this, is I'll just, instead of counting my strokes, I'll just do a push-pull and go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It gets it polished a little bit faster. I don't think it produces as good of an edge, but it's faster and I'm impatient. This knife is also, like I said, this is a cheap $20 knife. So it's really soft steel. So it's going to sharpen really fast since it's so soft. If you're using a nicer knife, something that's like a 60 or a 62 on the Rockwell scale, it's going to take you a little bit longer than what this is. This is just a cheap knife so I can give a nice little tutorial. And let's see how it's doing after this. So you saw how well it cut on the 1K stone. Now, let's see how it does after some time on the 5K. And I don't think I'll bother taking it up to the 12K. You're probably not going to see any difference in cutting ability, but you'll be able to hear it. The blade's going to cut with a higher pitch. And let's hear this. You see that? I caught an edge. I'm trying to do too fine of strokes. No, maybe there is a burr in there. There we go. It was just my shitty cutting ability. I'm not a chef. I just like to sharpen things. There you go.